Hello everyone, exBethelite here, and I want to talk to you about something very, very, very serious. I had a conversation and someone told me that there has been sexual assaults within the exJW community, whether it be at a meetup or what have you. And I have heard that there has been dishonest business dealings where someone has sent someone else money with the expectation that they would get something back, that they're buying something, and they never received whatever that particular good was. And then there has also been discussion of groups being formed and then some sort of shunning or something to that effect going on. There is concern that people are leaving Watchtower and forming groups that then do similar types of damage. And I'm hearing this from multiple different people. And I have heard it continuously for a long period of time coming from multiple different people from different states. So I have to believe that there is some validity to what is being said. I don't think that, and this is my opinion, but I don't think that the concept that because a person has a title next to their name, whether it be Jehovah's Witness or whether it is ex-Jehovah's Witness, because they have a title next to their name, I don't believe that that automatically means that you should then trust that person, that you should then give them your address, that you should then have them come over your house and you don't know them and you've never met them in public before. Or that, you know, with these meetups, that you should end up anywhere that isn't public with someone you don't know, but that has a title next to their name. Or let's go one better. I don't think that you should let your guard down and end up meeting someone, whether it be because you gave them your address or because you're meeting them somewhere secluded. I don't think that you should do that with someone who is an exJW but is well known because they make YouTube video, or they're well known because they thought of a Facebook group. Let's just for an example, a lot of people know about Vast Apostate Army. This is a name of a group. Now, because someone is a part of that group, and if you don't know them, it's dangerous meeting somewhere secluded. It's dangerous meeting over someone's house. It's dangerous to trust people you don't know online. I don't care what group it is. I don't care if you join a Facebook group designed for people who like garage sales, and they talk about the different sales and things of that sort. And you may have all that in common with that person. You may love to go to different garage sales. But in your conversations with that person online, that does not mean that you give out your address or you say, hey, I'm going to meet up with you at your house. Possibly you could meet up at a garage sale as long as it's public. You drive past and you make sure it's public. I don't think that, and I can't stress this enough, because prior to certain events large events that were going on within the community, I recall making videos saying to be careful. And then afterwards, I'm hearing about this person was sexually assaulted and they don't want to come forward because the person is well known because they're on YouTube or something, or they're well known because they are on Facebook and they moderate a group. Because a person is on YouTube, because a person moderates a group, that does not make them the next Jesus Christ. It does not make them beyond reproach. It doesn't mean you should trust them. I give out my phone number. Let's take for an example. I give out my phone number oftentimes on the videos. And even in doing that, there is thought behind it. And that thought is a lot of us are spread out. So a lot of the people that end up with my phone number, they're not from my city, and they have no clue where I am. The person wouldn't be able to find me, and I don't verbally give out, oftentimes I don't verbally give out my location, address, and things of that sort, even over the phone. So even with me giving out my phone number, which if I was a woman, I would not do that, because there is a chance someone could use that inappropriately. And even for me, there's a chance someone could use it inappropriately. It's just, we have to be careful. Coming from a religious background where we were taught you can trust somebody if they're in your group. You can trust, if they're a Jehovah's Witness, if they have the name Jehovah's Witness, you can trust that person. They care about you. They're part of your family. See? We were taught that. And then once we leave the religion, I think some of that is still there with us. And it carries over into the exJW community, where someone you don't know, you may have sent them money and then are surprised when you don't get back whatever that good is that that person promised. Or a person may decide to try to make a profit, and you're surprised that someone may try to use money that they collect for personal use. We shouldn't be surprised, however, because if you don't know a person, you shouldn't trust them. Now, it's your money. If you want to donate it to someone, if you want to send it to someone that you met on Facebook or someone that you saw on YouTube, and you want to send that money to them because they said that they want to give you a t-shirt or something to that effect, that's your choice to do that. But we should still be mindful of the possibility that people could scam you. Just because they have the word exJW, we don't even know that they're exJW. If you just met them online, you never met them in person, you're from a whole nother city, we don't even know that they're exJW. We don't know anything about them. So it's your choice. I'm not saying don't donate money. I'm not saying don't ask for money. I'm not saying, you know, what you should and shouldn't do. I'm just saying be cautious and don't be surprised that someone can be dishonest. And be surprised that they can be dishonest because they have a title exJW next to their name, or because they used to be an elder, or something to that effect. This is something that I know is a problem, definitely for people that are just now coming out of that organization. They come out completely trusting, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous, and it's not just dangerous in the exJW community. As I was telling my friend, this is the online world, period. You can't be trusting of everybody online. Anywhere. It's not just the exJW community. You can't get online and just trust people that you don't know. So I was talking to that friend who had concern because a lot of these things are happening, and they're happening in these groups. That people come up with a group, they think of a nice name to that group, and people join it, and then the next thing you know, you're hearing about things like this happening. Or somebody becomes well known for whatever reason, whether it be because they make YouTube videos or something, and then you hear about something happening. I have heard bad things about so many exJW activists. I don't confirm whether it's true or not. I'm just saying I have heard bad things or stories, or someone has said something about 80% of the activists that I know. And we're really, in my mind, we should have already known that this was a possibility. When you get online on Facebook and you start talking to someone, I don't care what group it is, and you don't know them, you could be talking to someone who had been in prison for the last 10 years and just got out. You don't know. You do not know who this person is on the other end of the computer. Now, I'll mention something else, and I understand that, you know, people in the exJW community aren't stupid. They understand that you shouldn't just trust people online, or just trust people because they say they're an ex-Jehovah's Witness, but oftentimes this is what happens. You haven't had anyone to relate with you. You've experienced something as a former Jehovah's Witness that most of the population cannot relate to. You can't talk to anybody about it because they're going to think that they're just going to think you're crazy. So when you finally get somebody that understands, because they've been through it also, and you can talk and talk and talk about the things that you experienced in your life, and about how you can't speak to your own parent, and your own sibling is turned against you, and you're able to pour out your heart about things that you've been holding in for so long because you didn't think you'd be able to talk to anybody that would understand. Somehow there's a natural trust that takes place during conversation like that. We still have to be careful. Yes, a person may have experienced something similar to you where you're able to have a discussion about your past experiences. That doesn't mean, here's my address, come on over, especially if you're a woman and you're talking to a guy. Because anybody, it could be another woman, anybody could have, you know, ulterior motives, but that's an obvious one that can happen. You have to be careful. You have to be very careful. I recall people contacting me saying that they were in the area and they were looking for a place to crash, just them and a whole bunch of guys in their car. I didn't know them. I didn't know the guy. They didn't know me. There's so many bad things that can happen if we have the mindset that we don't have to use any caution because someone is an exJW. So, again, let me paraphrase. You can do whatever you want. You can send anybody you want money. If you want to ask for money for a project, you're more than welcome to do it. I just want people to know that there is a possibility that someone can be dishonest. We shouldn't be surprised when that happens, because that's how it's always been. It's always been corrupt people. There's always been dishonest people. Because they put a religious title next to their name, that's never made it safe. There's always been bad things happening to people in a religious setting where they thought that they could trust everyone. That's been happening. So obviously the exJW community is not immune to the same issues and problems that we have everywhere in every group. So we need to exercise caution. With the meetups, I think meeting up is great. I've been to meetups, and the meetups that I've been to have always been upbuilding, to be able to sit down, go to an ice cream shop or a coffee shop and sit down with 4 or 5 or more sometimes former witnesses, and we are all able to talk and relate and understand that we are not alone, and that other people have gone through similar things, and this is how they've gotten through it, or they're able to give experience. Those are great. Oftentimes, however, we don't know the people that we're meeting outside of, other than that they've had similar experiences as we have. So going to a meetup and then going from that meetup to someone's house is taking a chance if you don't know that person. Or going to a meetup and just giving out your address to everybody is taking a chance if you don't know that person. And there shouldn't be touching. Why would there be touching? If you are meeting anybody that you never met before at a restaurant or something like that, or Starbucks, and they come over and they put their arm around you, you're immediately going to think something's wrong. He don't know me. I don't know him. Why would he do that? We have to have the same street smarts in the exJW community. We should be having meetups where nobody's touching anybody and nobody's trying to get your personal information. Why? Apparently you're able to communicate online. So if you haven't gotten to know this person's from a whole nother city, what are they trying to get your personal information for to begin with? I was very upset when I've been hearing this for a long period of time, so this is not new, but I've heard it from so many people that now I know it's not a possibility that everybody's making this up. So some of the things that I'm hearing are definitely upsetting, because they're serious things. I've heard about sexual assault. I'm hearing about serious things. I understand that also people coming from a controlling group want to express freedom. They want to do what they want to do. I've been told what to do for so long. Now I want to drink. Now I want to smoke. Now I want to party. Now I want to meet up with whoever I want to meet up with and do whatever I want. exJW's gone wild type of a concept or idea. And do what you want to do, but be cautious. Just because you want to party doesn't mean go somewhere you don't know anyone alone. Just because you want to party and have exJWs going wild, if that's what you want to do, then do that. But that doesn't mean give your personal information to somebody you don't know. You can party and take someone with you that you know. Otherwise, host a party somewhere public. You can have fun meeting up in a public place without people touching you. People shouldn't be touching you if you don't know them. If some guy puts his hands anywhere near your blouse, why is that happening? You don't know him. It's unnecessary for you to have a meetup. It's unnecessary for you to have fun, for you to have a party. Shady things don't have to happen. So if something shady is happening, generally 9 times out of 10, you have to watch yourself. The dating aspect. Let's talk about that briefly. It's very true that if you date another exJW, there's a good chance that based off your past experiences and your upbringing, you're going to have a lot to talk about, and you are going to have, at least some things generally in common. However, because that person has exJW next to their name doesn't mean that they have any better intentions in dating than anybody you would have met on a dating site. If you meet anybody on a dating site, you still got to get to know the person. You may have some things in common with them, but you still need to get to know them, because you don't know anything about them. They could have a mental issue. They could have things in their past that they may have done that they may be repeating. So in dating, meeting up with exJWs, just be safe. Just be safe. Use precautions. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I want to make sure I make it clear I've done the same things. I've made the same mistakes. When I first left Watchtower, man, my arms were wide open to anybody else that was a former JW. If I find out they're a former JW, I'm right over their house so I can, we can share experiences. And I've learned over time that mindset is a carryover from religion. Religion teaches you not to have street smarts, to drop your guard, to trust anybody that's in a similar group, similar situation, has similar experiences, but you don't know them very well, but you can still trust. That's in my mind, that's religion, because I don't know of anywhere else in society where we do that. Where else do we just trust whoever, regardless of, we don't know them? That's just religion as far as I know. You trust them, why? They're Catholic. Do you know? No, but they're Catholic. You trust them? Yeah. Why? They're Jehovah's Witnesses. We're all a big family. Do you know them? No, but they're they're my brother. They're my sister. Why? Because they're a Jehovah's Witness. Do you know them? No. That's a religious mindset that, in my opinion, we need to move away from until we get to know people. I have a friend here in Texas, and we met up at the mall, and we talked for hours at the mall. I got a good feeling for the person's view of activism and things like that, and then I decide, hey, well, let's link up, let's start doing things together, let's be based off getting to know them, not just off they're an exJW. So I don't want to hear about anyone being harmed, anyone getting hurt. We shouldn't have groups online that are shunning people. You mean to tell me there are groups of people that get together they don't even get together. They log on to a computer because they're from different states. They ain't even met each other, and then they're shunning somebody that they ain't met them either. How in the world is all this happening? People don't even know each other are shunning, and we got to understand, we don't know each other. Just because you logged onto a computer and typed something to somebody, we don't know each other. How are we shunning? How is that happening anyway? How can that happen? How can I be shunned by someone I don't even know? These are things that I'm hearing that sounds insane to me. There are exJW groups on Facebook just like there are any other type of group on Facebook, where there are people who log onto a computer from states all over the country, sometimes from other countries, and they talk about things that they have in common. That's all. That doesn't mean that you're a family. It doesn't mean anything other than what it is. We shouldn't be getting online feeling like we don't know. If we just have to be careful. You guys just saw the wheels turning and getting, I'm confusing myself trying to think of how, because I heard someone specifically say they are shunned from an exJW group. And I'm like, you mean you're shunned from people you never met and they never met each other? They don't know you to begin with to be shunned. So this stuff is blowing my mind. Comment down below. I don't want to name drop. I've heard different things about different people who are somewhat known on YouTube and on Facebook. I don't want to drop names and say what I heard about these people. What I want to say is we shouldn't be dropping our guard with anybody we don't know, regardless of whether they are well known on YouTube or not. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in a situation where something could happen. And I'm not saying it's your fault, because I've done it too. I'm just saying be careful to not put yourself in a situation where anything can happen anyway. Or put yourself in a situation where you are completely reliant on a group on Facebook or some other internet site. Trying to think of the name of the one that has so many others. But let's don't put ourselves in a situation where those are the only people we know or associate with. And then there can be some sort of shunning. Because if I get kicked out of a Facebook group, I'll just join another. It doesn't matter to me. But if those are the only people I associate with, I only associate with other former witnesses, that's dangerous, then yes, you probably could be experiencing something similar to shunning. We want to spread out. We want to make friends with everyone, not just former witnesses, not just any one group to where that group has any kind of power. Now, that being said, exJW community is doing a lot of good and is doing a lot of damage to Watchtower and is literally winning the war online. Not winning, won. We've won the online war. It's over. Watchtower is demolished online. It's done a lot of good, but let's not put ourselves in a situation. Let's not turn it into Watchtower where we're trusting everybody and we're only associating with people that are exJW, and we're making exJW activities or other people our whole life. That's putting ourselves in a situation where we can be hurt. So I just wanted to touch on that. And again, 937-789-4029. Let's discuss things. exJW related or what have you. This is exBethlite signing out.